Good evening, everybody. The more smiling faces we see out there, the better we like it. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to the Taft City Council Successor Agency Joint Regularly Scheduled Meeting for Tuesday, February the 4th, 2020. As a courtesy to all, please silence your phones, put them on vibrate. We're going to begin this evening's meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Eveland and followed by an invocation from Scott Pearson. If you would join us all, please.
We stand. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I don't see Scott. Chief McMinn.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, we give all the praise and glory to you, Lord. Lord, that we ask for your wisdom today. We ask that you touch the city councilman and our mayor and our attorney and our family that we have here today and our citizens, and let us make the right decisions going forward for the city of Taft and for the citizens of Taft, Lord. Lord, we ask the blessings for the ones that are misfortunate, don't have as much as others, that you shine a light and give guidance and direction to them, Lord. We ask all of this in your name, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Knorr,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pryor,
Here.
Councilmember Bryant,
Here.
Councilmember Eveland,
Here.
and Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
All right, first item on this evening's agenda is a proclamation, the Safe Surrender Baby Awareness Month. I have here a proclamation from the City Council. I'm going to go ahead and read it. I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity. So, proclamation declaring February 2020 Safe Surrender Baby Awareness Month in Kern County. Whereas the Safely Surrendered Baby Law was first implemented in California on January the 1st, 2001, with the intent to prevent harm and possible death to newborns. And whereas the law's intent is to save the lives of newborn infants at risk of abandonment by encouraging parents or persons with lawful custody to safely surrender the infant within 72 hours of birth with no questions asked. And whereas in Kern County there have been 76 babies safely surrendered since 2006. And whereas the Safely Surrendered Baby Coalition, under the coordination of the Department of Human Services, works to educate Kern County residents about this important law. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft does hereby join other cities in proclaiming the month of February 2020 as Safe Surrender Baby Awareness Month in Kern County, dated this 4th day of February 2020, signed by myself and all 4 city councilmen. So, we have this evening accepting the Safe Surrender Aaron Rogers, Terry Martinez, Captain Chris Straub, Engineer Rich Rodriguez, Firefighter Grant Reeder, and DHS Assistant Program Dr. Daniel Oliver. Is that correct? Did I miss anybody?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, if you would please come forward.
Good evening. Thank you, City Council, for allowing us to speak. We thank you so much for this proclamation, and we are very grateful to be here today to speak about this important topic. I am Erin Rogers. I'm with the Bakersfield Pregnancy Center.
I'm Terry Martinez. I'm a program director with the Department of Human Services.
And I'm Danielle Olivier. I'm an assistant program director with the Department of Human Services.
The reason that Safely Surrender Awareness Committee exists is to collaboratively inform our community about the Safely Surrendered Baby Law, passed in 2001, as you said, in California under SB 1368. This allows a mother to surrender her baby up to 72 hours after birth, or 3 days. The baby is then must be placed in the arms of a fire official like your local county fire department, or a medical professional at a hospital. And then the baby, as long as the baby has been unharmed, it will be placed into a pre-approved adoptive home. Once the baby is surrendered, the mother and the child are given matching IDs that do not have any names, just a series of numbers. This protects her privacy. She does not ever have to leave her name or any identifying information when she surrenders her child. The mother has 14 days to reclaim the baby, and if she decides to change her mind. After these 14 days, if the baby is not reclaimed, the adoptive family can move forward in the adoption process. This law helps mothers in crisis avoid making a desperate choice if they are grappling with keeping a child. Since 2006, 77 babies have been surrendered in Kern County. That's 77 lives that have been saved. And in just this last year, there were 5 babies surrendered in Kern County, and 1 was reclaimed by her mother, or its mother, I don't know if it was a boy or girl, within that 14-day period. We just thank you so much for taking the time to make our community aware of this important resource. If you would like more information about the Safely Surrendered law, we have left some additional information and posters that can be used to inform your community members.
So do any council members wish to address these ladies regarding that?
I have a small comment. I adopted 2 girls, and one of them right from the hospital. Had to wait 3 days in order to do it, in case they change their mind and stuff and everything. And we gave it a good home. My daughter went to schools, got her master's at Pepperdine, and I had to admire the women, the mothers that made that choice to have a better opportunity for their children. They do turn over to the hospital or the fire department to give them a better life. And I just think I was able to be a part of that part on that. And I tell you what, it gives you a lot of great pleasure. They're mine. I consider them all mine, and I love them all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, let me get you this, ladies. Thank you.
And you were correct, during 2019, there was 76. But we just happened to have one in January. Our first one for 2020, so.
Absolutely. Where do you want that? Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay, before we get too far, as I was walking up on the dais, I noticed the beautiful Valentine's Day flowers. You guys notice all those? It's like this hint. I want to reach out and thank our ex-mayor pro tem, Renee Hill, for providing these. So if you're wondering where these beautiful flowers came from and where she exercises her skills, that would be at Old School, downtown Taft. Go see Renee. She'll take care of you. Thank you very much. Ms. Posey, are you?
If you don't mind, we'd like to talk, and then when my last baseball player arrives.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, we'll carry on with the meeting. Okay, fine. We'll keep on going. All right, then. Next item on the agenda, item number 2, public hearing on costs and placement of liens on abated property. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The properties listed below have nuisances abated. The owners of record have been notified by certified mail by posting in said property in accordance with the Taft City Municipal Code of the costs incurred during the abatement process. The addresses include 401 Woodrow Street for the abatement cost of $487.80, 108 7th Street with an abatement cost of $488.30, 708 2nd Street with an abatement cost of $481.50, and 311 Woodrow Street with an abatement cost of $650.30.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, recommendation is conduct a public hearing regarding the statement of expense. I'm going to go ahead and open that public hearing. Anybody who wishes to speak in support of or opposition to any of these 4 resolutions, please step forward. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. At this time, I would entertain actually 4 motions. Do I need 4 separate motions or just one? In one. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to adopt the following 4 resolutions. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the cost for the abatement of the nuisance at 401 Woodrow Street, Taft, California, APN number 031-330-12-9 in the amount of $487.80. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the cost for the abatement of the nuisance at 108 7th Street, confirming the cost for the, oh, I'm sorry, I read that already. 108 7th Street, Taft, California, APN number 031-200-10-8 in the amount of $488.30. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the cost for the abatement of the nuisance at 708 2nd Street, Taft, California, APN number 031-402-04-3 in the amount of $481.50. And a resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the cost for the abatement of the nuisance at 311 Woodrow Street, Taft, California, APN number 031-320-30-2 in the amount of $650.30.
Oh, so moved. Sorry.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I got you guys in rhythm. Got you guys all, yeah, you're waiting for
Lulling
the
us
fifth one, weren't you? Okay.
asleep.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just the typical, thank you to city staff for being proactive. I know this is tedious, but we appreciate you guys being very proactive and taking care of this. And shame on the property owners. Been noticed adequately multiple times, and shame on you for having to tie up critical and scarce taxpayer resources to take care of a private debt. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
That's right. Thank you very much. Guess what? We had some early rain and then we had sunshine. What's that mean? The weeds are going to grow, folks. Please take pride in where you live and your property. That's all it takes. So we have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant.
Yes.
Councilmember Evelyn.
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
And Mayor Noor.
Yes. That passed on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. Next up, item number 3, citizen request public comments. Let's see if we have any this evening. Thank you very much, Yvette. Okay. This is the time and place for the general public to address the City Council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. So, first up, it is my pleasure to introduce Amanda Posey with the Taft All-Star Band. I would ask that she please come up and address the council.
So I brought some of our students today. I'm Amanda Posey. I'm the music teacher at the high school. And one of the trips that we're planning is in May 2020 to go to Washington, D.C. This is our 3rd trip. And I started with Mrs. Mudge many years ago before she retired. She was invited originally to represent Taft at a Pearl Harbor Memorial concert celebration. And we would perform at certain venues when veterans came through touring. And this trip has kind of become our annual trip for the band. And now Mrs. Mudge is retired, but she's still our treasurer, and she will be going as kind of my director emeritus. So it's Taft High and Lincoln Junior High combined to make the All-Star Band. Now, I brought 4 high school students, but I want you to know all of them attended Lincoln at some point. So it looks like mostly my band, but all of my band except for Colt Matthews attended Lincoln. So I brought some students to talk to you. They're each going to come up and introduce themselves, and then they prepared Star Spangled Banner written for just brass and 1 snare drum to play for you at the end. So I'm going to let them each introduce themselves, and then I'll take any questions about the trip at the end. All right.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Zane Bravo, and I've wanted to go on this trip for probably, 6 years now? Maybe or 4 or 5 years since the last time they went. I missed the opportunity, and this go around I was really hoping to be able to go because I thought it was a really big missed opportunity. We get to go to Washington, D.C. and perform in front of the Washington and Lincoln monuments, and we get to do so many amazing things, and I'm so grateful that I have that opportunity, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Parker Bryant, and I've been playing drums since I was in 5th grade, and I've been wanting to go on this trip ever since my brother went on it.
Hello, my name is Martin Penaloza. I've been playing the trumpet since 5th grade, and I've wanted to go on this trip because no one in my family has ever done anything ambitious like this. Like, they've never been to such a large distance, and I feel like being the first one to do something like this, I have like a lot of pressure on me from my family. So, yeah, thank you.
Hi, I am Richard Posey. I'm a senior and I've been in the band since 5th grade. And even though this is my third time technically going to Washington, D.C., it doesn't get old. It's always a new experience and always just, it feels completely different even though I've done it 3 times sitting in front of the Lincoln Monument and blaring on my tuba. So, thank you.
Thank you for waiting for Ricky. They have their first scrimmage tomorrow, and he is the starting catcher for the varsity team. And so I'm sure they held him to the very last minute warming up pitchers for tomorrow. So pitchers nervous, but catchers never. So these 4 boys are all completely different. Our trip is 4 days. We'll leave on Monday is our travel day, and then we tour on a beautiful motor coach. Tuesday is Lincoln Day. We perform in front of the Lincoln Memorial, which it takes permits and planning. You walk up, there's a person with a clipboard. They say you have 1 hour. You set up your chairs, you play, you leave. Everything is very official. And getting all that planned and set up is always concerning, but we've done it twice, so we're going for a third time. And then we tour the house where Lincoln died and Ford Theater and go up through there and end our day touring all of it at night, which is beautiful. And then Wednesday is World War II, and that beautiful monument, seeing all the states around and the fountain in the middle, and we walk up and down the mall, and then we visit the Veterans Memorial and just go around to each different memorial during the day, and then at night we do them again because they change so much at night. We're also trying to plan a walk through the Congressman McCarthy's office and the White House. And then on the last day, we end it all with Arlington National Cemetery. We've requested to put a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, but have not been permitted yet. If we cannot do that, we will put a wreath at either John Philip Sousa's or at Glenn Miller's tombstone, whatever is appropriate. Because when you go to Washington, D.C., you have to ask permission for everything. And you do whatever you're given permission to do. So far, the trip is about $70,000. We're about $50,000 in. Our February payment was in the bank in January, ready to be paid. We have one more payment in April. We are using 3 tiers of payment. We asked the districts to pay for the staff and $200 per student to help cover some of the busing costs, and then business donations which the students were generating. And the last one is each family pays about $150 a month since last July. And we did fundraising and car washes and everything we can think of between now and then to raise that money. So it's a little bit of the town, a little bit of the kids, a little bit of the family, a little bit of the businesses that we all share in this. Are there any questions about our trip?
I want to ask the students. I've been to Washington, D.C. multiple times. My father's buried in Arlington National Cemetery, in point of fact. I've been there with Honor Flight. I've been there with Cooks of the Valley. So I want to know from the kids, the young men, I'm sorry, what was the one thing that you truly most want to see? There are so many things. You can spend 2 weeks in the Smithsonian, for heaven's sakes. What's the one thing? Each of you, tell me.
The World War II monument is just
Incredible.
absolutely spectacular. The view, the details on everything. I believe there's a massive compass on one of the corners. All the intricate things that went into that design is just breathtaking.
I agree. It's amazing. Matter of fact, next to the flag raising over Iwo Jima, it's my second favorite. How about you?
The one thing I would like to see is the Lincoln Memorial.
Beautiful. All right.
I'm absolutely fascinated with seeing the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier if we're able to, because I'd love to see the process and how much time and effort it's taken that person to be able to do what they do, because they do it all hours of the day. So
changing the guard is an amazing thing. And when I was there with the honor flight, one of our liaisons was one of the young men who dedicated his life to that, and to hear their entire story. You talk about dedication and sacrifice. Those young men are amazing, and it is something to watch. I would have to agree with you.
Thank you.
I also would like to see the Lincoln statue because I've always seen it in like picture books when I was younger, and now that I'm going to be able to see it for the first time in my life, it's pretty exciting.
Guess what? It's big.
Yes.
It is big. You'll enjoy it. All right, very good. So I guess we get to hear from you all now.
If you all will please rise.
Amanda, how many kids do you have going?
42 total, and that is because that's how many you can fit on a tour bus. I only take one bus, and so that we fill the bus. So Parker will be playing snare, and when we go to Washington, D.C., the first thing we play is the Star Spangled Banner. And I haven't decided if it's him or Colt Matthews, but I will point at a young man and he will start the drum roll. And so percussion, very near and dear to my heart. Parker is one of the contenders for that spot. Ricky will be playing a cornet, but he will be playing tuba at our trip. Zane is playing a mellophone, but you'll probably be playing French horn, maybe piano if I throw in some piano numbers. And Martin will probably play trumpet. All right, boys, you ready?
Thank you all very much for coming here before us this evening. Thank you very much for all your hard work, Ms. Posey. And you all were a hit when we have the barbecue for the Veterans Day barbecue, and it's a wonderful thing having you there too. So it's been great the last couple of years.
And that has been my goal since I took this position, that the band would be the community sound. When community has an event that, for its birthday, that's the jazz band. Whenever there's a community event, these students need to see those events and be there and serve the community with music. So.
You support the community. I bet the community will support you too. I wish you the very best. Enjoy the tour. It's a wonderful place. Our nation's history is something else. It is.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thanks again. All right, next person wishing to address the council is Jeff Ferris, Kern County Emergency Medical Services.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name's Jeff Ferris. I am the administrator for Kern County Emergency Medical Services. I'm also a citizen of Taft. I do the commute every day. It's fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. In my role as administrator for Emergency Medical Services, I'm also what's considered, created in Health and Safety Code as the MOOC, Medical Health Operational Area Coordinator. In that role, I'm responsible for medical and health countywide. So as my role as administrator, I was in the public health DOC last week when we had our chemical release. And I was part of the decision-making process, creating the evacuation parameters, and hopefully one of my roles is making sure we had emergency response ready to go when needed, that they were prepared so that we didn't have any injuries or any illnesses from the leak there. The reason I'm here tonight is to offer my office's services to the city, only at your request to assist in any way necessary to work on plans, whether it be shelter in place, whether it be evacuation. I have personnel in my office that specialize in planning, and as I said, it's one of my roles as the MOAC in the county. So I'm just here to offer my services and my staff's assistance to you all if you feel that necessary or would like that.
Well, I'll begin. I can tell you, Jeff, that I not only do I think it's necessary, I really believe it's critical, and that would be the dovetailing of everybody involved. The flow of accurate and timely information is going to be quite critical to avoiding panic. Information on the front side regarding the possibility of a chemical release, the properties of the chemical, does it dissipate rapidly in air, and what it should cause. What does shelter in place truly mean, and how to properly do that, and why is it important? There were a lot of questions that came up during the course of those events. And much like any other event like that, once we debrief and get all the stakeholders in place, I truly believe that the community's reaction to the next emergency, whether it is the same emergency or something different, will be that much better. I mean, when the first public safety power shutoff was going to happen, people were reminded that, oh my, I have to take responsibility for my own well-being and preparation. We live in an earthquake zone. There could be other things that happen. So this is part of what's going on. I do believe that City Manager Craig Jones informed me that there was going to be some additional debriefing, and we're going to learn from this process. Would you care to comment on that, Craig?
Yeah, I was going to do it in my statements, and actually I would like to invite you to some of our meetings. I don't know if you're available this week. We've been in contact with Kern County Office of Emergency Service and Public Health, but it sounds like you need a seat at that table too. We do have a community meeting planned for February 13th at 5:30 at the Westside Rec Gymnasium. We will have Kern County OES, Kern County Public Health, Kern County Fire, CHP, Taft PD, Kern County Sheriff's Department, and hopefully you or someone from your department can make it, to discuss the incident, roles and responsibilities of agencies, the use of the public broadcast system, what can be done and what can't be done, and who actually initiates that. For the community to ask questions, and if you look in your agenda tonight, you're actually approving, or hopefully approving, some indemnification language for a grant that we're receiving through Kern County OES, which will start that process for a revised community emergency operation plan, which will have a lot of planning aspects to it, and community meetings where we can get input from all the different agencies and hopefully have a complete program or plan when we're done. So.
Okay, very good. Once again, the planning for these types of things into communication can take on many different forms. I mean, it can be a chemical spill. It could be, some other type of release. It could be a fire, some type of natural disaster. Heaven only knows, but...
That's one of the aspects we're going to talk about is threats and vulnerability to our area over here, because there are other chemicals that are stored, obviously, in places all over the county and on our side of the county. So.
All right, very good. Well, sir, I believe that you've been given direction. Not only do we want to thank you for coming forward, but we look forward to having you as a part of our debriefing.
Okay, thank you very much. I would love to participate. I've got some business cards. Okay.
Does anybody wish to ask any questions of Jeff before he gets out of here?
I just have a quick question. This is a little bit random, but Jeff, have you always lived in Taft, or did you decide to live here after some time here?
My wife, who I believe Councilman Whiting is familiar with, she grew up here, and we lived in Bakersfield, and we decided to come back out here where it's peaceful and quiet.
Thank you.
And we've been out here for several years now. I'm familiar with a couple of the members of the council here. Mr. Cryer sits on my Emergency Medical Care Advisory Board. We have a meeting next week, by the way.
Thank you for reminding me.
I hope you can make it.
I'm not getting the information. I have to go through my personal email in order to get that right information on the meetings.
I send out the official packet Thursday.
Okay.
This Thursday. You should get it Thursday.
I'll be there.
If you don't, let me know.
I'll be there.
Okay, good.
I want to say thank you for living in Taft. We appreciate that very much. It's not often we have folks in relatively high-ranking positions that choose to make the commute the other way.
Yeah.
So we thank you for that. We look forward to many more years ahead of that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jeff. Look forward to seeing you there.
I'd like to say welcome back.
Absolutely. Right.
All right, next up, council statements, non-action. Councilman Evelyn, I believe you did mention the fact that you wanted to address this very issue. I'm going to go ahead and let you dovetail right into that, sir.
I actually did. I more of my personal experience, excuse me, as to what happened that particular day. So I get a phone call from my son, who was the 6'5" giant in here a little while ago, saying that that Taft High had initiated their shelter in place. And after some quick research, ended up calling me back and saying, yeah, that's absolutely appropriate. They base a lot of these things, as I'm sure anybody from OES can say, is on a worst case scenario situation. So I did a little research on that that awesome chemical that spilled out there. Whereas obviously it's pretty nasty stuff. I get that, and in big enough doses, close enough at non-aerosol through ingestion, it's very, very bad stuff. But on the same note, there were some concerns that I had. After researching, I realized, yeah, the actual idea of Taft being in danger was a little more limited than what was initially being put out on all the social media and everybody kind of in a panic mode. That's one of the things that really concerned me about this. Is a lot of people in the community, individuals within our community, kind of lit a fire on something without having the appropriate information. And it got to the point to where people were screaming evacuation as far as McKittrick. I mean, all of these things were coming out over social media, but the information is actually available to you. We all have these magic phones and computers and things like that. So my bigger concern is, whereas I honestly believe we need to push accurate information sharing throughout the county, any state entities, or whatever, in the event there is an emergency like that, I would like to urge people, until you have information, please don't make an assumption that the entire world is going to blow up and start putting it out all over social media. There were kids that were scared to death. There were parents literally losing their minds. There was businesses doing evacuations that had no reason to. There were institutions evacuating when there was no reason to. As a matter of fact, it could have actually made the problem worse, taking those kids or those young folks out into the community or heading home to Bakersfield or wherever, just by the panic that was spread during the process. So I would like to urge the public, make sure you have correct information before you elect to start putting, oh my God, we're all going to die out there into the public. And that's pretty much all I had to say, Mr. Mayor.
Well, that's very good advice. I thank you very much, sir. I myself have never used social media as the go-to resource for time-sensitive factual information. That's just not what I've come to do. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to dovetail right off of that as well. Councilmember Evelyn makes some great points. And there are a lot of problems that can potentially come when people spread misinformation. And you're absolutely right. There's plenty of good information out there. I want to commend city staff for doing what we could to update the citizens, not only by the way of the city website, www.cityoftaft.org. You're welcome to go check it out. You can get official information from the city right there, but also by way of the city's Facebook page. So that's one of the positive things that's out there is direct, quick access to official information. Now, granted, it was limited, but it's still much more official than your neighbor saying that we're all going to die because we've got this massive gas leak, or whatever it was coming this way. I also would encourage everybody to at least investigate at this point what's called Ready Kern by way of the Kern County Department of Fire, or Fire Department, whatever you want to call it, readykern.org. It's the same place where we were getting the majority of our official information. I would encourage folks to go and sign up for the free and direct alerts. You can get them via text message, via phone call, via email, or all of the above for free directly to you. On that note, though, I know I've talked to Craig about this multiple times, but I want to say it out there to everybody. I have full confidence in the actions and the capabilities of our city staff to react to something like that. Do we have gaps that we need to fill? Obviously, but you're only going to come out and find those gaps when you have a scenario like this. So again, I have full confidence in what you guys can, have, and will do, and I look forward to being a good partner in the process to get us even better. I know that the county's reached out, and I appreciate the fact that they're going to be doing this meeting on the 13th. It may conflict with a couple other folks, but I really would encourage folks to come out and be a part of that. Stop being a part of the rumor mill and come out and actually get information factually. Ask questions, offer suggestions. I know nobody wants to do this in a vacuum. We live in a community where we want people to interact. Unfortunately, a lot of folks don't. I'll not belabor that any farther. On your ballots, we're going to the ballot box here for our spring elections here. For once, on a California ballot, when you look at the initiative that talks about Prop 13 and that bond, no means no. Remember when we went back to Prop 6 2 years ago, I believe it was. No meant yes, yes meant no, and nobody else knew what the hell was going on. At the end of the day, I would strongly encourage you, vote your own mind, vote your own conscience. But if you want to be pro-business in the state of California, vote no on this amendment to Prop 13. It does have some benefits if it does pass to local schools, but those schools don't operate in a vacuum. And if the state can't operate in managing infrastructure as they are today, adding anything further to that's only going to make the problem worse while driving the tax base further and further out of the confines of the state of California. So again, check it for yourself, but my encouragement is vote no on that change. On that note, I was actually encouraged to meet and to sit at the Kern County Association of Cities dinner last week, and we had the presentation by the folks from Fresno State, and they're doing a lot of work in conjunction with the Westside Recreation and Park District. A lot of folks are worried about the state of the economy here, what they're going to do to supplement their income in case they do lose their job in a prominent industry. I don't foresee that happening, but if we have a lot of entrepreneurs out there in this community, I would encourage you guys to go to the next meeting at the Rec, February 27th. It goes from 10 to 11:30, so it's in the morning, but I'm sure that they'll have folks available for anybody who wants to partake in this. It's great small business training, how to access loans, how to run a business, how to run or start a business plan. It's very good information for free from the best business school in the Valley. And I can say that because I'm a graduate of it. All right? Please follow up with the Westside Recreation and Park District if you have any questions. We encourage and we want to support small business here in the city of Taft. I want to say thank you to everybody that came out to the cruise night on Friday. That was a wonderful time, and yes, it was for a specific cause, but you know what, guys? We can do that any Friday, and we should do it every Friday. That's community. That's Taft, and I really appreciate that, and I look forward to many, many more of those ahead. And the weather was beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, it was
I'm sure you ordered that one up. It's my oral privilege to take credit for that. And on behalf of the All-Star Band, I know I was sitting here as a band dad. My son was the one playing the snare drum. I want to commend those kids. Well, he's here still. I want to commend those kids. Those kids work their butts off. And it's not just high school kids, but it's elementary kids too. They're raising money still. They had to raise some $50,000 to be able to go on this trip, and they're still raising money today, and it's still planned for May. So I would encourage anybody that wants to make a donation or to support the kids, you can make and write checks to the Taft City School Foundation, 811 6th Street here in Taft, California, 93268. You're welcome to reach out to Marlene Mudge, Kathy Modrigan, or Amanda Posey if you'd like other information, but please feel free to make a donation. I know those kids will really appreciate it. And if you do nothing besides, if you don't want to give a donation, some encouragement would be real appreciated, but those guys are doing a heck of a job. This is my 6th year as a band dad. I never thought I'd say that until my son got into band, and I'll tell you what, those kids work harder than I ever did on an athletics field in my life. That's some dedication right there. So, and I know that when they played, any red-blooded American that doesn't get a little teary-eyed and full of pride when that song's playing, you must not have a heart beating. But I know I sat up here and did. So that's all I'll rant on for the night, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Councilman Whiting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll save my remarks till the end of the meeting tonight, closing.
Roger that. Yes, sir. Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, Marshall Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Councilman Bryan, what you mentioned about what we do with the people opportunities in Taft to go to the meetings and stuff to help better ourselves and the businesses here in Taft, because there's a lot of things happen. We're not the only cities getting hurt by all the things coming from Sacramento, but businessmen need to cater to our citizens here. Like, you got some stores that open up when everybody's heading to work, and they close when they're coming back home, and adjust their hours a little bit, or have a double shift or something to work with the citizens. But also, we need to keep our money here much as we can. I understand we don't have everything here yet, but hopefully someday we'll have all the retails and hopefully more businesses to cater to our needs. But it's really critical that our tax money can stay here as long as we can and use it. And I know oil draw is coming up in October. That brings a lot of new money here in town that really uplifts our community with the income it brings in here. And for a short term, that money that the local businesses get keeps them going for the whole next year. And they're the ones that donate to our high school students and our grade school students and to other charities that we have here in town throughout the year. You're going to see Save More or some other big chain stores give away donations. You'll see mainly the small businesses, the mom and pop stores that donate more than anybody else does. And those are the ones I salute to business here locally. So we need to reward them and help them out and keep our money here. That's all I have to say, Mayor.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, a lot of good information. I think the most important thing is there was a lot of unknowns during the course of that chemical spill and the reactions thereof. There's no such thing. I really don't know about an overreaction to an unknown possibility. Being proactively safe, if you make that decision, I understand that. One of the things that is going to come to light is just exactly what are the properties of acrolein and how much of it is there and what could it possibly cause. It's no different than hydrogen sulfide. There's a lot of hydrogen sulfide throughout this valley. In very low concentrations, hydrogen sulfide smells like rotten eggs, but one of the problems with hydrogen sulfide is in high concentration, it deadens your sense of smell. Then all of a sudden it makes your lungs forget to go back and forth, and you die. And it happened in Bhopal, India, and there are places that I work, and we work around it safely every day if you understand the right way to do it, that have tens of thousands of parts per million of hydrogen sulfide out there. And you just, to know the properties of it and know what you need to do beats the heck out of the unknown. So we will all learn a great deal. I encourage everybody to attend that meeting. It will be better for all of us, absolutely. All right, then, moving forward, department reports. Item number 5. Do we have any department reports this evening? All right. I see Chief McMinn coming up here to talk to us.
Mayor, City Councilman.
Sure.
Hello, Yvette. How are you? Greg, Jason. These are statistics for the Taft Police Department for the month of January. This is for Jeff. Back to our same old ways is what I like. We had total incidents of 798, calls for service 393, officer-initiated incidents of 405, traffic stops of 27, vehicle and ped checks of 69. Total reports taken in the month of January, 164. We had 8 accident cases, an animal control, 37 felony reports, general information 31 reports, and incident activity of 2. We had 81 misdemeanor reports and 6 unclassified reports, meaning AODs or what other additional reports we write for other departments. Total felony and misdemeanor arrests for the month of January were 88. We had 69 misdemeanor arrests and 19 felony arrests for the month of January. Total citations of 59, 51 misdemeanor, 5 infraction, and 3 vehicle and park citations for the month of January at our police department.
Sound like troops were busy.
We're working on it. We're getting individuals just cleared FTO field training, and we've got them back on the streets, so it's nice to head back to full staff and get the gals and guys out there working hard and doing the things that I enjoy that they do, and I'm sure they enjoy it too.
Keeping the community safe.
That's exactly what it's all about, sir.
And again, the 405 officer initiated is pretty telling.
Yeah,
These
it's
guys are
something that
going out
I've
doing it.
expressed to the young men and women at our department. It's a sign of what you do, and if you're out causing more arrests and contacting more individuals than you get called to, then you're a proactive police department, and that's what we're all about. That's what TAF needs to be all about. So
perfect.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate the report.
Absolutely. I have one more for code enforcement I would like to give for report of this month of January. We have 2 homes right now that are completed for structures ready for demolition. We're waiting on the clearance from the air boards. That's at 421 Lucard and 720 Kern Street. We have, well, I won't read them all, but we have 3, 6, 9 structures that are pending rehab and demo. Several on North Street, Center Street, Wildcat, and Lucard. We've done 4 emergency boardings, 1 search warrant issued for the month of January, and 13 new cases. We've done 9 72-hour parking notices, and we have towed 5 vehicles from the area.
All right.
And that's my code enforcement.
That's a busy group too, isn't it?
Yeah, we're working on it. I'm going to reach down and go into some alley cleanup, which I know our city manager loves this, because so do I. If you drive the alleys and notice the alleyways, that they are these guys are out working hard. They did 109 trailer loads in the month of January. That's 10 roll-off bins were emptied, and they returned actually 10 sharpening carts to Albertsons, which we found throughout the city. So they're out doing their job.
Yes, they are indeed.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Very
Chief
welcome.
Forrest, too.
Very welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, next up, item number 6, city manager statements.
Thank you, Mayor. No further statement.
All right, thanks, sir. Jason, city attorney statements. Jason, I wasn't here last week, city attorney statement.
I was not here. I apologize for my absence, but I understand everything went just fine in my absence. Probably went better than usual because I was gone.
We labored to not break any laws in lieu of your absence, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No other statement.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Future agenda requests. Item number 8. Any future agenda requests this evening?
Nothing here.
Seeing none, we'll move forward. I keep looking at those roses. It's like, man, I make a note. Make a note.
That's a good reminder.
Smell them from here.
Okay, next up, consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Seeing none. The items on the consent calendar are item number 9, the minutes for the January 21st regular scheduled meeting. Item number 10, payment of bills, some $947,000 worth. Item number 11, accept the completed work by NSM Recycling, Inc. for the demolition at 720 Kern Street and 421 Lucard Street. Recommendation there is a motion to accept the completed work by NSM Recycling Incorporated for the demolition of the buildings located at 720 Main Street and 421 Lucard Street, and authorize the city clerk to file the notice of completion with Kern County Recorder. Then finally, item number 12, authorization to sign indemnity agreement indemnifying County of Kern in regards to emergency operations plan grant. Recommendation is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the indemnity agreement indemnifying County of Kern regarding receiving grant assistance for an emergency operations plan update, like we spoke of. Does any council member wish to remove any of these items from the consent calendar?
I do not.
Hearing none, at this time I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 9 through 12.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant.
Yes.
Councilmember Evelyn.
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
And Mayor Noor.
Yes, and that passed on 5-0 vote. Thank you all.
Bryant abstained from
If that's required, yes, ma'am. From item number 9, I think it is.
Item number 9. That's right. You were
I was
absent,
asking as
sir.
well.
All right, thank you. Okay, that concludes the open session portion of this evening's meeting. I want to thank you all for being here and being a part of it. We will be going into closed session for one item, A, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, government code section 54956.9B, 2 potential cases. And I'm going to turn this over to the former police chief, Ed Whiting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we'd like to dedicate this council session and its closure in memory of Bert Pumphrey. Bert passed away this last Saturday morning in Jinx, Oklahoma. He leaves behind his wife of more than 50 years, Jan, 2 sons, Sean and Dustin, and numerous grandchildren. Bert was our 9th police chief for the city of Taft, having served from 1995 to 2007 for more than 12 years. I served under him. He was my 3rd police chief here. And when he retired, as some of you may or may not know, he was preceded by Chief Ken McMinn as the 10th police chief, and then I served as the 11th police chief, and now we have Damon McMahon as our 12th police chief here for the city of Taft. We have seems like we like to keep it in the family, so to speak, but Bert took very good care of us. He was an excellent police chief here. He made sure he supported the troops. We had good equipment, good training. He's the first one to put together a policy manual that we still adhere to today. He made sure that we started off with our first computer network, what we call RIMS, our report management system, and he's the one who helped us get that up and running, and we still use that today. He served with distinction. He's also a graduate of the FBI National Academy, and he was just absolutely a great friend. And so tonight's meeting we're dedicating to Bert for that reason, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to close the meeting with that. Thank you.
Thank you all.